So we're doing a little test today, guys. My normal mic was destroyed in a terrible mishap called being stepped on because I didn't notice it on the floor and the giant mess that was in here. So let me know if you can hear me speaking. You can hear me? Okay. And the relative level between my voice and the drone, is that okay? Does the drone need to come up? Does my voice need to go down? You let me know. You're on it's the laptop microphone. It sounds okay? All right, cool. All right, we have 9 seconds till we're scheduled to start. Is Lamont here? Oh, there he is, Trusto 101. I'm picking on you, man. All right, I'm gonna make a little noise. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna leave the chat up there. And let me know if anything screws up. I'll try and watch the chat. If you have any questions, tag me or put a big Q at the beginning, a la PSN. That's a good mechanism. So let's make a little noise first, shall we? Jeff, you go right ahead and play along, man. We're going to talk a lot today. If I stand up, yeah, you can still see me. All right. Play for a bit and then we'll chat. We'll leave these running a little bit in the background. All right. So who's here today? Let's see. Zoom back to the beginning here. Hey, Wabbit. Hey, Synth Samurai, man. Glad you made it. If you're still here. Some people pop in and then leave. Audrey, good to see you. I'm just going to name some names and then come back and look for questions. Don, Casual Noises. Hey, Moriel. I see Trusto. He's here with his bubbles. We gotta stop that joke. That running gag is over. Let's see. Hey, Steve, Rich. Hey, Marilyn. Let's see. Casual Noises. Dr. Cynthia, Eric S. Let's see who else we have here. Will. Helical Coil. Thanks for coming. Let's see. Mr. Hopkins. Anna Motion. Anna, man. I put a big old gushy comment on your video this morning. It was awesome, that piece of music you did. Let's see. Who else? Hey, Kleptophonics. Glad you made it. Good to see you again, man. Patrobagina. Let's see. Turnian. And Andy, Mr. Synchrotron. Who am I missing here? Steve doing the countdown. Let's see. Who else? Tracker Jack, good to see you. Hey, Wookie. Craig, good. No donuts? That's okay. There's donuts out here. My father visited this morning. So, let's see. Resna K. Hello, if you're new. Welcome. If you've been before and I missed you, or if I forgot, I'm sorry. Let's see. Who else we got here? Resna K. I think I'm all caught up here. Let me zoom down. Might be missing. I think that's probably it. Good God, you guys are talking like crazy. I'm like zooming to. Thought it was coming to the end of the list, but no. Let's see. I'm glad you all feel good enough to talk amongst yourselves. Hey, Biscuit. That's cool. And all right, so I think that's everybody. Okay, let me zoom back really quick and look for tags. I don't think there's any questions probably yet, but Steve, you made it. That's awesome. Let's see. I can hear you, but the voice isn't as clean as it was in the past. Yes, Moriel, that's because I'm using, I broke my microphone. I broke the headset mic, so I'm using a laptop microphone. So you're getting a lot of like room ambience and stuff. So sorry. Sorry, Trusto. Let's see. Yes, Andy, you got it right. Trusto is Lamont. Who probably still doesn't have enough sleep. For those of you who don't know, Symptoms of Reality and Trusto, they're a team, and among other people, and they just finished a 24-hour live stream the other day, and we got to watch them slowly, sort of like, not crash and burn, but definitely, it was a steep dive towards the end there, right? But they survived. Let's see. Questions. Any comments that I need to respond to? Only listening to the music, Muriel. That's fine. Lurkers are always welcome, buddy. It's all good. My muscle memory has come back. I'm okay with I got no grids today. We'll talk about that. There's no grids in here. Question, is the sub 40, is that a sub 47? Actually, it's 10 less. It's a sub 37. It's actually a subsequent 37. It's the one that came after that has a little more headroom. But we can, if you have any questions about it, we can talk about it. And this is the CV option, so it's got CV ins and outs on it as well. And I went through, it was painful. It arrived, it had a bug, I had to ship it back, like a hardware problem. And when it came back, the shipping container was destroyed, but the synth survived. So, let's see what else we got here. Let's vary this. Let's see. Not awake yet, Craig. That's okay. I don't see any other questions. And how's the shoulder? Shoulder's getting better. Slowly, surely. Tomorrow is, this week is a week of medical things, and so is next week. So, let's see. think that's it. Okay, so this is the photo I threw up at the beginning is like this corner of the studio. It's the analog corner. So it's all analog stuff and no grids. So I have to play it. The Matriarch is the one that I stole from over there, but I may have bought another one. So this is not here yet. But so the Matriarch, so what's happening here? There's a Minimoog that's not really connected to anything from a MIDI perspective. It's just there to be played. The Sub 37 is also just here to be played, although it's getting clock from the Matriarch. Matriarch is running clock. The Matriarch has two tracks, and one of them is controlling this Minotaur here, and the other one's controlling this Behringer K2, which is an MS-20 clone. Here, let's isolate those for a second. So this is the Behringer K2. It's got a real nice shrieky resonance. So that high pass is being modulated, so it's you hear it sweeping in and out. So the Matriarch is driving that, and then the Minotaur is doing something similar, complementary. So those are my little pluck machines for this stuff. Does the K2 have S-trigs? No. So well, the new K2. Pardon me, I'm yelling to the mic because this is loud in my ear. The new K2 Mark II has some enhancements, one of them being it's 1 volt per octave. It's not like hertz per octave or whatever the original one was, or hertz to pitch. I actually know nothing about it, so I drive it off of MIDI. So does it have S-trigs? I don't know, because I'm literally driving it off MIDI. You'll have to check the manual. But I really like the sound of it. I had an MS-20 Mini maybe 8 years ago, and it just took up a lot of space, even though it was the Mini, so I ended up selling it. But as soon as I sold it, I missed the MS-20 sound. It's a very distinctive synth sound. Here, that's it. That's K2. And so when this Behringer was like giving these away for like $150, right? So I bought one to see. It's the first Behringer synth I've ever owned. I had a bunch of their pedals though, and the pedals were okay. I've got some complaints. I've got some in the chain here. I'll talk about that. But this is a really nice MS-20 clone. I'm super happy with it. So, for what's an S-trig? So I do because I don't make the distinction between S-trigs and what's the other one? P-trigs. So Animotion, if you can speak to that, explain it to Steve in the chat, right? But there's like Moogs 1 volt per octave, and then the way their gates work is I think it goes low, and then the gate opens, it goes high, and then it goes down when you release the key. I don't know how the MS-20 was, but it didn't work that way. And it didn't use 1 volt per octave, it used a different standard that, again, I don't understand because I've never used it, because I consume them with MIDI. So, but you guys explain it if you can. Oh, V-trigs, voltage triggers. Oh, Rich knows. Anna probably knows as well. It's like, so if you want to, even though the original K2 from Behringer will fit in a Euro rack, it doesn't integrate well with the Euro rack unless you get some conversions for the triggers and the pitch stuff. But the new K2 is Euro rack compatible, 1 volt per octave, and then, CV and gates. So I'm not sure. But the chain, you probably can't see it on the camera, and I'm not going to move it around. There's an assload of guitar pedals everywhere because there's no computer in the chain. I usually run everything. I've typically run everything into a giant audio interface and then into Ableton, and I apply effects in Ableton. I'm not doing that here. We're DAWless, which is really actually a pain, but okay, whatever. I can use this for the hardware jams and not feel guilty. So there's guitar pedals everywhere. The K2 is running through a JHS Penguin chorus and then a Boss DD8 digital delay, which I think I talked about last week. This is the delay pedal that it was suspected to have been stolen, and I had to wait to buy after I gave Guitar Center their money. They're like, come back in 45 days. Apparently, whoever they suspected it was stolen from didn't claim it, and so I got it. So that's what you hear. There's the K2 dry, no effects. Right, so that sweep is in the K2. That's the high pass being swept. All right. Let's see, did I miss any questions? No. Okay, cool. So the JHS chorus is like a Boss super chorus, very, very similar. Right. And then the digital delay is a digital delay. And it's running on, the DD8 has a shimmer sort of delay setting, and that's what I'm using. So, and then the little Minotaur. The Minotaur is the same effects rig. It's running through a Behringer clone of the Boss Super Chorus called the Ultra Chorus. It's okay. And it's running through a little vintage Bucket Brigade delay, also from Behringer. There's the Minotaur dry. There's the chorus. It just gives it a little texture. Everything's running in mono. There's the delay. So my main complaint about Behringer pedals, and I don't have many complaints, at least running synths through them, I was worried. I've heard people complain that they're noisy or that they're not well shielded and that they pick up a lot of noise. They're sitting right next to all of my power bricks and the power strip gang plug, and they're still quiet. They're not picking up any noise. What they do have though is really, really low headroom. So if you feed them anything, they start to clip, which if you're running a guitar through them may be fine, right? But guitar signals are a lot lower than synth signals. So I've basically got all the volume, down at like, that's 10% volume on the Minotaur. I'm just going to demonstrate and turn it up, and you'll hear it's not a pleasant clipping. It's not great. That might be great if you run a drum machine through it, but yeah. But overall, the price is certainly right for the Behringer pedals, right? So let's see. Someone's pasting in the definitions of S-Tricks. Awesome. Rich, did you know that off the top of your head, or did you go ask GPT? Just curious. He is the GPT wrangler on our Discord server. Bass Bus, hey, welcome. Man with beard. How's it going, buddy? You get enough sleep? Did you stay up with symptoms of reality for the whole thing at the end? I couldn't do it. I had to go to sleep. ChatGPT as always. That's fine, Rich. Anyway, so that's what's coming out of there. So let's talk about the Minimoog. I'm going to stand for a second here. All right. Give me a second. All right. Yeah, I'm still on camera. Great. More or less. Can you see the Minimoog? Yep. And I apologize for not being a synth reviewer. I'm not showing the panel like with a flat on camera. Everyone else is really good about that. I am not. I am lazy. So just bear with me. This is a hang on a second. Oh, let's do this first of all. All right. Oh, sorry. Turn it off. I've got all these pedals on the floor and I lose track of which ones are for which synths. There we go. So here's the Minimoog dry. Let's do the classic. The Minimoog is running through a phaser, a univibe. Here's the phaser. Get it a little bit not so thick. Phaser, a little univibe. Univibe is my favorite effect because it's sort of subtle and it's kind of like a phaser. Time for a head cam, maybe Craig, maybe the case, or an overhead. I don't know. There's something about committing to installing an overhead camera or an arm for it that I'm just not there for. And then I've got this pedal that I want to sell. It's from Chase Bliss. It's called the Mood Mark II. And the reason I want to sell it is not because it's not a good pedal. It's a great pedal. But it is for creative mangling of things, which I don't use effectively. So I just use it for a reverb. There's like a whole micro looper in it. I never make use of it. But it has a nice sort of crisp reverb setting that you can get out of it. And I will probably replace it with like a Boss RV6 or something like that. So now the phaser and the phaser combined with the univibe gets this sort of liquid thing that I like. Anyway, sorry, a little distracted. That happens to me a lot. What you just witnessed there was what I call Minimoog fugue. Okay, so I'll be sitting here and like I'm a one knob per function panel guy, right? I have a lot of synths with menus and stuff like that, and that's fine. I have no issues with it. I like digital synths. There's something about this panel, and there are other synths that are similar. The Matriarch, yes, to a lesser degree. The subsequent, yes, to a lesser degree. The Minimoog panel is so simple that the landscape, the surface area of the sounds that are possible out of a Minimoog is fairly broad if you're creative, but still pretty known, right? That's a solved problem. It's a known space. And once you feel comfortable with it, you can dig around on the panel and just I start losing myself and I go into La La Land, and it gets really boring for anyone around me. So, sorry. But let's see. Anyone questions? Time for a head cam. Okay. Let's see. All right, I don't see any cues. If you have a question, do put a cue in front of it or tag me, because I may miss it. I sing the body electric. Do you think the 5-voice polyphony might be a bit of voice stealing? Oh, you're talking to half god, half beast. Okay, great. Biscuit. All right. Lost in Synthland. Yeah, it's totally real. All right. Anyway, so that's that. Now the subsequent. Here we go. Let's make sure it's not just my bald head. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because my face is so pretty. Here is the subsequent. So the subsequent 37 is going through an Electro Harmonics Super Ego Plus. But I haven't had time to sort of fiddle with the Super Ego Plus. You have to cook it a little bit it does this really cool morphing capture chord thing. And I did not do that. I totally slapped it in here because I needed a delay, and it's got a really nice delay in it. Let's do this. Here it is by itself. It's just really, really nice, clean delay. That has the way it fades out is, I don't want everything to be a bucket brigade. Like bucket brigade delays, crush the reverberations over time, right? They degrade. They decay. If you're doing the hardware jams decay thing, use some bucket brigade delays that decay, and you can do that. Do the jam challenge this weekend. This one's real clean and just fades out volume-wise. And then I'm running it, I like everything to have a little delay and a little reverb. So this one, let me turn the delay off actually. Here is just the reverb. And I'm pressing on the delay, the reverb pedal to freeze it. So it's a freezable. It's, what is this? It's from, what is it, Walrus or Wampler? It's somebody with a W. It's called the Slow. They make a new one, bigger one, called the Slower, which I haven't looked at. But I really like this Slow pedal. Because what it does is, it's aimed at ambient stuff, but it's basically a reverb that's easy. The pedal's easy to make a reverb that swells up behind without being too bright. So it's sort of like this, it's their whole sort of shtick. It's this sort of dark reverberation that blooms behind the tone you're sending through it. And it's great on synth. I just like the way that goes. And then combine that with the delay. And then this particular patch is set up so that if I use the mod wheel, I'll bring in a sync. It'll start syncing the two oscillators. Aftertouch on it brings in some, not vibrato, but modulates the filter. So these two together could be, because the Minimoog is so sharp, right? Sustain that. Try not to get lost. Hang on. All right. So that's on this end of the room. Okay. Question. Anyone have experience with a touchscreen module? I do not. Casual noises. I'm sorry. Someone else in the chat probably does. Ask Jeff Hopkins. He or Garen seem to have experience with like everything. I don't know if Garen's here, but Jeff is in here somewhere. All right. Spinning back, no questions. All right, let's keep going. The final thing is this Matriarch over here. So let's see. Man with Beard asks, have you ever had a grandmother? And if so, how does it compare to the Minimoog? I have not had a grandmother. I mean, I have two grandmothers. Hang on one sec. But they're not synthesizers. They're old ladies. All right, let's do this. Because I want to go over here. Yeah, that'll work. Like rotating the laptop. I need to get, Garen has a cool like tracking camera and all sorts of cool stuff. The people on my Discord are like Anna, Jeff, Garen, Andy. I think they have as much invested in their video rig as they do in their synthesizers. So, anyway, the Matriarch is the only stereo synth being played today. And let's do this. Bring it up. Bring the resonance down so we get some bass. Let's do this. I want to do this. So I like the Matriarch a lot. I don't know anything about the grandmother, but so this Matriarch is running through a phaser, a univibe, and actually that's it. So let me turn these off for a second. So that's the Matriarch dry. It's using its own internal delay. That's dry. Oh, can you do this? Whenever I'm playing with a delay and an LFO that's doing the steady pulse thing, I have to take 10 seconds to do this. I'll probably play it wrong. I'll do a little Doctor Who theme. Anyway, all right. So the Matriarch is going to turn into, it's semi-modular, but it's not doing anything. If you looked at the video a few weeks ago or saw the stream, my modular, the remnants of it are behind me. I'm going to put this in a new case and trick it out to do a few things that I want it to do. There's our phaser, and there is our univibe. Sometimes the simple things, just the simple stuff is better than the flashy stuff. Like, I'm not a great player. Might get loud. Hang on. Sounds like the TARDIS. Into a drone. Not as good as Andy's drones. I don't have a disting NT. You know, NT, for people who don't like the disting, NT stands for nice try, to get me to buy one. We'll do a little self-oscillating drone here, or it's sample and hold that's been smoothed. Let that run for a bit. We'll bring these back. All right, let me check the chat here, then we'll make some more noise. Let's play with the tempo. Let me play with this pattern a little bit, and then we'll check the chat. So hold on. Just programming in some pitches here. So here's one of the dangers. I'm sitting here changing the pitches, and I'm like, why aren't these pitches changing? Why aren't these pitches changing? And it's because there's 2 tracks on this sequencer, and you're listening to track 2, and I'm changing track 1. So, idiot. This one. I've been changing this one and I didn't realize it. So there we go. So here are 2 sequences running. Let's add some breaks. So 2 layers playing. They've got some holes in them, so you hear the ambience and the reverberations between them. Looking at the chat and playing at the same time, that's a skill. My playing gets really bad. Soften this up a little bit. Pants are mandatory? Okay. I was bordering on switch on Bach. So whenever I do anything live, it eventually devolves into something Bach-like because that was my mother's influence on me. So if notes outside the key are called jazz notes, what is it when you change an oscillator and accidentally make it really frickin' loud all of a sudden, accidentally? There's got to be, what nationality is that? American? Because it's loud? It's American note. We gotta pause this for a second. Hang on. I want to do something with this, and I need to be able to hear it outside of the context of everything else. Detuning, getting it detuned so it sounds off but still good is a thing I'm not an expert at when I've got everything else going on. So I gotta shut everything off. So what I'm shooting for is the Moog modular sound from the Bach pieces from Clockwork Orange, because you said everything's bordering on switched on Bach, so now I want to get that timbre. And I'm not gonna be playing any Bach because I don't know how. I think that's pretty close. That, let's put this back. We'll bring this back. This sounds like 70s synthesizer music. Got a few minutes left. Let's see. Robert Schroeder. I don't know who that is, Steve. I'm going to have to look it up. Thank you, Thomas. Welcome. Glad you made it. So when you play that music, do you use 655-321 sequence? Craig asks. Craig, I don't know what sequence that is. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there. So explain it in the Discord. They're called Marshall notes after the Spinal Tap amp. Okay, so when we're playing nice and quiet and everything's going in, I accidentally flub it up and flip over to a sawtooth from a triangle oscillator and it's incredibly loud. We'll call that a spinal note or Marshall note, a Marshall note. Okay, I'm down with that. Let's see. Rich says, I'm happy to see you move. Nice, so much better. Yeah, there's like a constant thing here, and I know I shouldn't complain because you got it worse, but it is improving. So bye-bye. See you, Rich, if you're already gone and I missed you. Sorry, man. It's the metal note. Nice. We should name it the, what's the, who is Udo Dirkschneider? That name is stuck in my head. He's in a band, an 80s hair metal band, Udo Dirkschneider. I want to say, is that like Accept? Like the band Accept? I don't know if anyone remembers that. We call it a mistake. Thanks, Biscuit. All right. And it woke people up. Sorry, guys. Let's see. All right. I think that's, let's see. We're coming up on 3 o'clock. So it was from Accept. I remembered the band and the guy's name, Udo Dirkschneider. What a great name, right? When I was learning German, let's make some noise. Hold on. This is very Wendy Carlos. Udo. So when I was learning German in high school, everything, like we had Dick and Jane, Dick and Jane's run, C-Spot run. Everything in my German textbooks for like 4 years was Udo. Udo did this and Udo did that. Udo fährt nach Köln and Udo geht ins Kino and all the stuff that he did. It was Udo. And then I found this band, Accept, and they were awesome. And the singer, I think it was a singer guitar player, his name was Udo Dirkschneider. And it just stuck. Some part of my brain, there are a certain number of neurons that are storing Udo Dirkschneider. I don't know if he's alive. I don't even know what he looks like anymore, right? But I remember his name. So, yeah. So the Udo synth, the super synth, is named after Herr Dirkschneider. It's possible. Pink, very Pink Floyd. Nice. All right, 2:59 and 38 seconds. If I was going to pick on Trusto, I would end this precisely at 3 o'clock on the dot because we started right on the dot at 2. So he's still active. That's cool. There's no point. Anyway, hey, if you guys are working on the the Decay hardware jam this weekend, I was gonna do it, but I lost time doing all this stuff, and now I haven't showered yet. Ugh, it's horrifying. And my wife's watching football, and she's like, "Are you coming? Let's go." I'm gonna do that. So no hardware jam for me. Oh, I am playing with an Ableton Move though, and I have opinions. And I don't, like I said, I don't do gear reviews, but there's so many people going insane on the web, either loving it or hating it. I'm waiting. I'm making a bunch of stuff out of it, and I'm not going to do a review video, but I am going to do a video on what my experience is sitting on the couch composing using the Ableton Move, and whether I think it's worth $450 just for that. I'm not playing live with it. I'm not connecting it to my rig. I'm not using it to control Ableton. It is a sketch pad that I'm using to write music with on the couch. And after I've got 2 weeks or so's worth of effort into that, I'll share what came out of that effort, and I will say whether I think it's worth $450. So that's coming. All right. That is it. Yeah, people going insane on the web is the entirety of the internet. I know. But when they, when they're active in my corner, I notice them, right? So give us your top 5 pedals for synths. Synth Samurai asks. Okay, we can do that. I would say I'm going to say categorically, really, is what's more important. Okay. Top 5 pedals for synths is a good reverb that you like. Okay. Good being defined as, what do I think a good reverb is? I like a reverb that has a really broad range of textures and palettes, right? So it doesn't need to be, like the slow is a good reverb pedal, but it's very opinionated and specifically aimed at an ambient space. If I needed to do a slap back room echo on the slow, I haven't tried. It may be possible, but it's certainly not what it's leaning into. I like the Boss RV6. It's a real broad spectrum stuff. I also like, from a reverb perspective, I like, I'm not going to say Strymon because I've never used them because they're so expensive, but up in that category, I like the dual Ventris. I've had that pedal for about 8 years. I like that. It's 2 reverbs in one, and you can mix and smear them together. So a good reverb, a good delay, and I like having a delay that's versatile. So a Bucket Brigade delay, like in the Matriarch, sounds awesome and it's great, but it sounds like a Bucket Brigade delay. I like the Boss DD8 because it'll sound like a Bucket Brigade, but it'll also sound like an 80s clean digital delay, and it also has a shimmer in it, and it's got a lot of very flexible delay. So I lean towards Boss pedals a lot. I know there's a ton of boutique makers out there, and I have a few, but it is there. So a good reverb, a good broad delay, and some modulation effects. So phaser, chorus, flanger, univibe. Find one of those, whatever flavor you like, get one of those. I like Earthquaker devices, the depths. That's a good univibe, but you need to have someone modify it because its rate doesn't go down low enough. I found a guy who put a different potentiometer in it for me so that I could slow it down even further. I like modulation that goes slow for synthesizers, right? So a lot of phaser, chorus, flanger, they will do a whoa, 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 whoa kind of sound, but they won't go really slow. I like things that'll modulate, like take a minute to do a full cycle. So you're going to have to shop around. I don't know anybody you could try them. Say, how slow will it go? Read the manual. And then, so modulation, delay, reverb. I like a fuzz pedal. So if you're gonna, if you're doing the TB303 thing, you've got to have something that's like a Proco Rat, a clone or something, because that's how you get that sound. But a fuzz will do it in a pinch, and I like fuzz through synths, and an octave fuzz especially, because it'll normally fuzz. Distortion tends to crush the low end from a synthesizer, or often will. And an octave fuzz will fuzz it up, but then also drop it an octave and lay that on top of it. So I like octave fuzz, although I didn't demonstrate one today. I've got a short video on the channel about the Behringer Super Fuzz, which is a great little fuzz pedal. I like that one. Let's see. And I guess something weird, like it's always fun to have a weird thing. So I've got this Chase Bliss pedal, the Mood Mark II. It's weird, but not in the direction I want. It's very opinionated and it wants to go in its own direction. I like the Super Ego Plus. It does this chord sampling phasing thing, very, very trippy, very Pink Floyd. And I like basically go look at Electro Harmonics. They've got weird pedals that they just try weird shit. They're like a pedal that turns your guitar into a sitar. It's bizarre. Run a synth pluck through that. It's pretty crazy. I like ring modulators too. So the ring thing. I'm biased and I'm spouting things that I already own, right? So there are tons of pedals out there that I haven't tried that are probably awesome. But the basics are a broadly useful reverb, a broadly useful delay, not just a Bucket Brigade delay. That sound gets old really fast. Some kind of modulation effect, chorus, flanger, phaser, right? That's what I would say. I'm sorry, I hope that was helpful, but it was probably non-specific enough to be annoying. Try Wikipedia Synth Seeker. Steve, I'm not sure if what I asked what I asked that you said go check Wikipedia. So Alex's prison number 655321. I need to go check Wikipedia for that, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. More of a gear rant than a review. Yeah, sorry. Let's see. I'm pretty much done here. Let's see. Ask for top 5. Tremolo is fun. Tremolo you can kind of do on any synth by just slapping an LFO on a VCA, right? So you don't necessarily need a dedicated tremolo pedal, but it's convenient. TC Electronics G-Force. Yeah, you can, like, there's a bunch of pedals now that there have always been multi-effect pedals, right? But now they're getting really good. Although that Zoom one everyone loves, that's been around for like 5 years. Strymon is good. I don't own any Strymons, but I mean, it's like saying, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? It's like, well, you know, I like what I have. I like what's available. What's in the freezer right now? I like that. Slow phasers, yeah. Octafuzz, yeah. Udo Deich. What's it on Wikipedia? All right, I'll look it up. Oh, are you saying Udo Dirkschneider? I should look up his Wikipedia article. Okay. I might be misremembering his last name. Is it Deich? Let's see. Behringer Octave Ring. Oh, my favorite guitar pedal commercial, if you're going to look at videos that are ads for pedals, is the JHS Lizard Queen. Go to YouTube and search for JHS Lizard Queen commercial, and just watch it. They had way too much fun making that commercial. All right, I think that's it. So I'm way over. So thank you so much, everyone. I had fun with this. I will see you next weekend, and everybody have fun. Okay. Let's see. How do we turn it off? I'm not fading out today, Andy. Sorry.